So today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Hults Bruk Kisa axe. Now the Kisa axe is considered a filling axe, but it is a little bit smaller. I kind of wanted to do this axe because I had such a good time in a former video, the last video, doing a review on the American forest axe by Waterlings. Now, it is also considered a filling axe. I actually felt that it was a little bit smaller than some of the other comparable filling axes. The Kisa is even a step smaller. It's only got a head weight of about 1.75 pounds approximately, and but I really enjoyed the Waterlings forest axe for limbing as well. So I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and go for the Kisa. It will give us kind of a, I guess you could say, a mid-range between if you want to do a little bit larger stuff and then the limbing and all. I'm hoping that it really kind of performs well with that as well. So let's go ahead and go and move on to the measurements. All right, so one of my favorite things about, well, I shouldn't say one of my favorite things, but something I really do like about the Hults Bruk is their sheaths. They don't have snaps on them. They've just got like a leather cord. I personally, that's something I have not seen on any other axis, and I think that's kind of cool. It kind of makes it quick for cinching on and for taking off. We'll maybe get a closer up shot of that in a minute here. All right, so the length is roughly 26, just over 26 inches. The width of the head, or the length of the head, I guess I should say, is right on approximately 6.5 inches. You can see here on the video, let's see. The base of the axe is about 3 3/8, and go ahead and get the width on here, and you're looking at approximately 1 1/4. So decent size axe. Not really what I'd call a filling axe, but should be a good all-around axe. You can see there's a little bit of a gap here. That gap is not as it seems. It's more of like a taper, I assume, for it sliding in, because it really is tight. Some of the other axe designers, you might think that there was a gap there. That is not the case here on this Hults Bruk. It really is a very tight forming head. It's just a little bit of taper there, if you can see right here on the front. That has nothing to do with the tightness of the head on this axe. So you can see up here, very tight, very well-fitting head. Forging is really nice on these Hults Bruks. In my opinion, every bit as nice as the Grand Furs. You know, the Waterlings, sometimes they get a little bit rougher on their forging. I'd say the Hults Bruk are, as far as smoothness and finish, are on par with just about anything you'll see. Got a small willow that's taken down. I'm going to go ahead and limb it just a little bit and throw it to the side, and we'll go ahead and take out this dried stuff here. All right, so that last stump that I took down it was, even though it was somewhat decayed, it was actually very spongy and kind of bouncing, so didn't really get a real good feel for how this compared. So I'm going to go ahead, this is the same willow that we were working on with the American forest axe. I'm going to go ahead and take a chunk out of it. All right, overall opinion is I really like the Hults Bruk Kisa filling axe. Few things to consider. It is small for a filling axe. I would consider it to be much more in the line of a Wetterling Scandinavian axe or Scandinavian forest, or maybe even a Hudson Bay, although the Hudson Bay is probably a step down in size. Great for limbing. You know, small felling, I don't think I would want to tackle a large tree with this. Now, Hults Bruk does offer a larger felling axe. I think its name is the Atron. It, however, is not in their hand-forged line, so just keep that in mind. If you're looking for a larger felling from Hults Bruk, check that out. I'll maybe get to doing a video on that in the future. Make sure, check back and keep an eye, out for that. Finishing notes on the Hults Bruk. I think this is the first Hults Bruk that I've done a review on. I do really like the forging, as I noted earlier. Real clean, real smooth. I'm not super big on the style of a lot of the Hults Bruk axes. And when I say that, I don't mean that there's anything wrong with the usability of it. You can see the head is oftentimes more rounded and doesn't come to quite as much of a point here, and just overall the look doesn't appeal to me. Now that is mostly just a personal preference. Some people could say, well, it's possibly even more durable. Of course, anytime you keep your angles down, you're going to have less chance of splitting. That, it could be, but there's so little of that going on with these hand-forged axes. As long as you're somewhat careful to keep it out of the dirt and rocks, I don't know that that's going to be an issue. But overall, really am happy with the Hults Bruk axes. Look forward to doing more reviews on them. Make sure check us out, subscribe, keep an eye on what we're doing. You may have noticed I was limping on a last note here before I let you all go. Limping or kind of leaning on one leg. Ended up with 5 stitches last week. So I just always like to reiterate, safety when you're working with axes, that can happen. I'm really thankful to say I've never had a foot injury from an axe. I have got a few slices on my fingers, but it can easily happen. Watch out, be careful. Stitches are no fun. Anytime you got to have them, and just be safe, y'all. We'll see you around.